was on to the field. Rosalind Hilton and George Topp, organisers of Scotland's Festival of History.
Scotland's Festival of History is now the largest event of its kind held north of Birmingham. That's why we attract people from all over, not just Scotland, but from England, Ireland, Wales and Europe.
We're the 8th Legion. We're based in North Wales in theory, but over the years we've grown, so we have members from North Wales right the way up through England and into Scotland as well. Lanark is on the line of the original advance of the Romans into Scotland in the late 1st century. They came up from Carlisle, pretty much up the route of the modern motorway, which is why it was built there much later on.
The event is as authentic as we can make it, so the public have this experience of basically stepping back through history.
If the government forces were in any doubt that this was the beginnings of a rebellion, then now those doubts are dispelled.
Well, today we're the Alan Breck's regiment and we're representing the Jacobite soldiers of 1745 here at the Festival of Scotland's History. And today we've been doing demonstrations of life in camp for the Jacobite army, and we've just recollected the moment when the standard was raised in August 1745, almost on this very day in the Highlands, kicking off the whole revolution.
The performance there, I've been watching them fight to each other, how they survive from the war, you know, and they gave some comments on this. It's very good. I learned a lot from that.
As a regiment, we specialise in the Jacobite soldiers of the period, and myself at the top leading as Prince Charles Edward Stuart himself, so we tried to make all of our equipment as accurate as possible, as well as interesting as possible for all of the visitors here. So everything from the coats that we wear and the badges of office right down to the weapons and the guns and the swords.
Ready? Present! Fire!
On this site we have living history encampments portraying everything from the Celts and the Romans right through to World War II. The people who have been taking part in this event come from across Britain, and some of them come from Europe, and we even have one from America. They are telling the tale, the accurate tale of the Napoleonic Wars, the American Civil War, World War I and II, medieval days, right across the spectrum of Scottish history.
The Scottish Army, led by Robert Douglas.
Douglas and Scotland!
I've spoken to some of the re-enactors and I'm very impressed at their knowledge of the period that they're interested in, especially the Vikings. They seem to take it very seriously, go into it in great depth and try to be as authentic as possible.
Everything we use, we try to make it look as though it was created in the time period that we're representing. The questions we get vary from the very strange to what you would expect. So we have here a selection of medieval arrows. So people like to know which is most likely to kill you. They like to know which has the worst wound. We have everything from the most horrendous arrows for injuring horses down to things which are designed to punch through steel. So we explain to people how these work, and young children, the more gruesome it is, the better.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Yeah!
This year there have been quite a few new innovations. One of the major events that we have is the American Civil War. During the American Civil War, thousands of Scots went out to America and fought on both sides. The Clyde built some of the ironclad ships for the Confederates and Union troops.
As a reenactor, our responsibility to the public is to portray life as accurately as possible during the American Civil War. All the artifacts which are seen outside the tents have been historically researched and are accurate, and would have been the items which would have been outside the Confederate States Army tent.
All the kids who'll come up, they've played the games Call of Duty, they know exactly what all the weaponry is. They'll come ask, can I see the MP40, can I see the MG40, can I see the Car 90, they know everything about it. But for the older people who didn't get to see all the German kit, they just see them quickly running around shooting at their allies. So they actually get to see what the camps were like, what kind of equipment we're using. boots you wear, to the insignia on your cap. You've got to be, everything's got to be spot on.
Coming to this event, it's living history. History they can see, they can smell, and in many cases they can touch. They learn more here by walking around this site than they would ever do from the dry pages of a history book.
It's okay reading it in books or even watching it in film, but seeing how people cook and eat, making this a living history has been really fascinating.
It's absolutely the best way for people to learn about their own heritage, because they can wander these parks, they can meet us, they can see the whole time span of Scotland's history right here in front of them in the most interactive and engaging way possible.